All right, today we're diving into something that feels like it was ripped straight out of a science fiction movie. It's a technology poised to change, well, pretty much everything we know about media, creativity, and maybe even reality itself. We're talking about AI video generation.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you, right now, had the power to create any scene, any world, any action sequence you can imagine? Not with a huge crew and a camera, but just by typing a few words. Well, that's not some far-off fantasy anymore. That is the incredible reality of the technology we're going to unpack today.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll cover the basics of this revolution. Then, we're going to peek under the hood to see how it actually works. After that, we'll explore what's possible right now, weigh the good against the bad, and finally, we'll look to the future. It is going to be a fascinating ride, so let's jump right in. All right, part one, from words to worlds. This is all about the fundamental shift that's happening, moving away from the old, super expensive, and slow ways of making video, and into a totally new era of instant visual storytelling. So what is it, really? At its heart, AI video generation is all about teaching a computer by showing it a massive, and I mean massive, library of videos and images. Then you give it a simple text prompt, something like a golden retriever running through a field of flowers in beautiful cinematic lighting, and poof, it generates a brand new video clip based on its understanding of all those ideas. And this slide just perfectly illustrates the disruption. You know, the old way, it took huge resources, crews, cameras, locations, months of work. The new way, it just collapses all of that down to one person, an idea, and a powerful algorithm. It's a total democratization of storytelling. It's a game changer. But how on earth does a machine actually create a video from text? That brings us to our next section, where we get to peek inside the engine and see how this magic trick is actually done. This is the absolute best way to think about it. An AI video generator isn't recording the world like a camera does. Nope, it's synthesizing it. Kind of like how our brains build dreams by pulling together all these random bits of memories, feelings, and things we've seen. The AI is doing the same thing, just with the data it was trained on. The process is just fascinating. First, the AI breaks down your sentence into the core concepts. Then, and this is the wild part, it starts with what looks like random TV static and begins to pull key images or key frames out of that noise. Think of them like a storyboard. Finally, it uses its predictive brain to animate the space between those keyframes, creating smooth, coherent motion. Okay, so that's the theory, but what does this actually mean in the real world? What are people creating with this new digital canvas, like right now? While the applications are already exploding, you have artists building these surreal worlds that could never exist in reality. Marketing teams are able to test dozens of different video ads in a single afternoon. Teachers can bring historical events to life for their students. And filmmakers, they can visualize entire scenes before a single camera ever has to roll. It's transforming everything. And this chart really puts the speed into perspective. For anyone in a creative field, prototyping is everything. And what used to be a bottleneck that could take weeks can now be done in just a few hours. That incredible speed unlocks so much more room for experimentation, for creativity, and ultimately for way better final products. But of course, a tool this powerful isn't just about cool new opportunities. It also brings with it some really big challenges that we absolutely have to confront. And that brings us to the two sides of this coin, the promise and the peril. And this table lays it all out. On one side, you have this incredible promise of creativity for everyone, faster workflows, and new kinds of art. But on the other side, you've got the very real dangers of misinformation, the potential for job displacement in creative fields, and all these thorny questions about who owns what. This quote just perfectly captures the moment we're in. As we build these unbelievable tools that can generate reality itself, we have a massive responsibility to build the ethical rules and detection tools to make sure they're used for good. The tech is moving at lightning speed, and our conversation about its impact has to keep up. So, with all that in mind, where is this whole thing headed? Let's turn to our final section and take a look out at the horizon. Now, of course, no one can predict the future perfectly, but the trajectory is becoming pretty clear. Very soon, probably by 2025, high-quality short clips are just going to be mainstream. A couple of years after that, we might see interactive stories that change based on what you do.
And within the decade, it's totally plausible that an AI could be a co-director on a full-length movie. The pace is just breathtaking. And that leaves us with one final and really critical question to think about. This technology isn't just changing how we make movies, it's challenging our entire relationship with what is real. As that line between the real and the synthetic gets blurrier and blurrier, our ability to verify, to trust, and to share a common reality, well, that might just become one of the most important skills of the 21st century.